Today is the 11th of January 2024, and this will be our 29th video on some possible questions that might come in your Gcse exams. Thank you everyone, who is helping with our platform, who have subscribed, who are yet to subscribe. I'll appreciate it a lot if you could subscribe, share, like, and follow us. As long as it won't cost you anything, please can you help us share our content, and if the account is not yours, please ask for permission from the account holder or ask someone to help you open your own account. I'll appreciate that. I normally write in the comment section, please follow my notes/script, which is helpful because for instance, this is 15/40. So if you hear anything apart from that, or 15/4, go by the notes, please. Beware of scammers, please beware. If it's not in the video, it's not me. If somebody is asking you for donation for orphanages, amputees, please, I'm not involved in any of such things. Don't fall for it. Watch the last video for recap. It was an interesting question about box plots. I'll do a video on that in future, but I thought the question was interesting, so I brought it. So watch the last video. Today, our starter today is arranging fraction in order of size from the lowest to the highest. If they're asking you to do lowest to highest and you do highest to lowest, it's not the same. So be mindful of that. The fractions are 14/200, 15/40, 17/50, 6/100, 19/50, 29/200, and 48/100. When you get a question like this, you should be thinking about the denominator. Your first step is to change all the denominators and make them the same. So if I look at the denominators I have here, I will change everything to 200. So I'll make the numerator divided by, I'll change it to the numerator divided by something to give me 200. So the first one is 14/200. So I don't need to do anything to that, because if I multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 1, I still have that. So that on the side. The second one is 15 divided by 40. So to get 200 for 40, I multiply by 5. So I'll do the same for the numerator and denominator. So 15 divided by 5, 75, 40 divided by 5, 200. Third one is 17 over 50. So I'll multiply numerator and denominator by 4. So I've done it here. So I have 68 over 200. Third one is 6 out of 100 divided by 100. So I'll multiply numerator and denominator by 2, okay, to get 12 over 200. The next one is 15 over 50. So I'll multiply numerator and denominator by 4. So 19 over 50 becomes 76 over 200. 29 over 200. I don't need to do much with that here. I'll just multiply by 1. 48 over 100. So I'll multiply numerator and denominator by 2, which will give me 96 over 200. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to write it out. Okay, so after everything, I have 14 over 200. So now I've changed all the fractions into something divided by 200. So 14 over 200, 75 over 200, 68 over 200, 12 over 200, 76 over 200, 29 over 200, 96 over 200. So now it's easy for me to use the numerator to see which one is the lowest and which one is the highest. So I'm going to rearrange them. Okay, so if I rearrange, the lowest numerator is 12. So 12 over 200, which came out of the fraction 6 over 100. The next is 14 over 200, which was 14 over 200 from the original question. Then we have 29 over 200. So it's the same. Okay. So I'm rearranging the numerator. Then I have 48 over 200, which came out of 17 over 50. Then I have 75 over 200, which came out of 15 over 40. And then I have 76 over 200, which came out of 19 over 50. And then I have 96 over 200, which came out of 48 over 100. So from the lowest to the highest, I have 6 over 100. Okay, using the fractions they gave me, because I can't leave them over 200. Okay, is the over 200 I did is just to help me use the numerator to rearrange them. So now that I've done that, I have to put them back as it was given to me in the question. Okay, so this is 6 over 100, 14 over 200, 29 over 200, 17 over 50, 15 over 40, 19 over 50, 48 over 100. Okay, so just by changing the denominators with the same number or the same factor, I can now rearrange, and it's easy. Now today's question, they said consider the triangle ABC. A to C is 45 kilometers. It has an angle of 110. A to B is 60 kilometers, and then we are supposed to find B to C. They are asking us to find B. Because this is not a right angle triangle, I can't use Pythagoras, okay? But I can use something called the cosine rule, which I ask you to update, okay, before Christmas, okay? So I'm going to use this question to solve this and use the cosine rule and show you how to use it before we do it as a topic, okay? Now, this is the triangle, okay? Now, the cosine rule, which I asked you to update on your flashcard, which we'll have a look at, okay, is if you have the length, this is the length at A, and this is the angle at A. The length at B, and that's the angle at B. The length at C, the length C, the opposite angle at C, okay? It says that this A squared here, okay, if you want to find the angle at A, that is the angle opposite to the length A, this A squared here will be equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2B, which is the length, C, the cos of the angle at A, which is opposite the length that we are looking for, okay? So I'm going to apply this to solve this question, okay, before we do it as a topic. So if I look at now assuming I represent this as A, then this is the angle at A, okay? This 40 kilometers C is the angle, assuming we knew the angle at C, that one. But we know the angle at A, so we can use it to find the length of A. So going by this, the cosine rule, we need to find A, which is our BC from the question. B here is 45 kilometers. C here is 60 kilometers. So that's all we need. So the cos at A here is 110, cos A, cos 110, okay? So I'm going to substitute that in the cosine rule to find A. Remember, it's A squared, not A, because it's A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos A. So A squared, this length that we want, is 45 squared, which is our B, plus 60 squared, which is our C. I'm just using the cosine rule, this formula, minus 2, B is 45, C is 60, cos of 110. Okay, I've simplified everything here. This is the information I'm using, 110. So A squared now is a calculator paper, so you allow the calculator, and it's a higher paper again. So 45 all squared, which will give me 2025. 60 all squared, which will give me 3600, minus 2 times 45 times 60, cos of 110. Now 2 times 45 times 60 is 540. Cos of 110 is minus 0.3420. You can use your calculator here. If you add the first two numbers, you have 5625 minus 5400. Cos of 110 is minus 0.3420. Now negative, if you multiply, you get an add. So if you multiply 5400 minus 5400 times minus 0.3420, you get a plus. So now you have 556.25 plus 1846.91, which will give you 7471.91. That will be your A squared. So A will be plus or minus the square root of 7471.91. Now if you do that on your calculator, you are going to get 86.44 kilometers. To the nearest whole number is 86 kilometers. Now remember, you will have two answers, the positive and the negative, but because you are looking for length, you choose the positive. Okay, so this is how you apply the sine rule. Okay, additional math student and higher student should be working on this level so they will understand it. Okay, so if you've not done the course, if you've not used the cosine rule before, this is an opportunity for you to use this triangle, this question, apply the cosine rule and solve it. Fortunately, you have only one angle and it's opposite the length you want. Okay, so it's easy to apply. So that will be our first method. Our second method, if you haven't done the cosine rule, but you have a bit of knowledge of SOHCAHTOA, which is the sine of an angle, will be equal to the opposite divided by the hypotenuse, or the cosine of an angle will be equal to the adjacent length over the hypotenuse, or the tangent of an angle will be equal to the opposite over adjacent. Okay, I asked you to update this also before in our last few videos. Okay, so if you are not sure, go back and watch it. So if this is the angle, the triangle you've been given, okay, so the first step is to extend the base, the A part, to form a right angle triangle. Immediately you form a right angle triangle, then you can use a Pythagoras. Okay, so now they've given you in the question, this is 110. Angle on a straight line is 180, so that will be 70. Okay, so first of all, we can find this portion here, AD, and add it to this 60 to find this length here, a DB. Okay, So I'm going to show you that. So because 70 here, that is 70, okay, this is the right angle triangle, so this is the adjacent. And so I'm going to use cosine. So AD here, okay, will be 45 here, cos of 70, okay, because it's adjacent, okay, and that's the hypotenuse there. That is a right angle triangle. It's not to scale, but I've extended this thing to form a right angle triangle here, okay. So now AD, this one here, is 45 cos 70. Again, if you use your calculator, you should get 15.3909. Okay, that is the AD here that I've extended. Now DC, this is DC here, from here to here, okay. So this is adjacent to the hypotenuse. So to find this side DC, I will need to use the sine. So sine of 70 here, and then I'll use 45, okay. So DC, this one here, DC here, will be 45 sine 70. Again, using the calculator, you should get 42.2861. Okay. This time I'm treating the video like I have students preparing for exams in the next few months, okay. So you should understand the use of this, okay. Now BD, from here to here, from here to here is 60, and we've just found AD, that is AD here. So now BD will be BA plus AD, which is 60 plus 15.3909, which we find earlier using the cosine and the hypotenuse, okay, from the extended angle we did to get a right angle triangle. So now that we know BD, okay, now we can use Pythagoras to find BC here, okay. So our BC now here becomes BD, all of this squared, okay, plus DC, all of that squared, which we've already calculated here, these two, this and this one. So we have 75.3909 all squared plus 42.2861 all squared. So BC, the length we want, we use the calculator to do these two, which would give us 5683.78 plus 1788.11, which will give us 7471.89. Now, to find BC, okay, is plus or minus the square root of 74. If you add these two numbers, 71.89, which again will give us plus or minus 86.44. Okay, we choose the positive again because it's length. So we can leave our answer as 86.44 kilometers or 86 kilometers, okay, to the nearest whole number. So whichever method you use, you are going to get 86.4 kilometers. Some of these questions, I like to show you the possible ways you can do it, okay, because it doesn't mean that it's just one rule. That is the flexibility of maths. Okay, you can have a question and you can apply different things to solve it. So the wider you know and the more topics you've done, the more flexible you are, because like the cosine rule is shorter. But assuming you don't know the cosine rule and you don't have it at the top of your head, then you can use this method, extend this side into a right angle triangle, find this length here, okay, add it to your 60, find this length here using the sine of the angle 70, because if this is 110, then obviously that will be 70. So if you find this length and that length, you can find the square of that, and this, because this becomes a right angle triangle, so you can apply Pythagoras. So you can find the square of this DC and DB, and then you use Pythagoras to find, so this becomes your hypotenuse now, your BC that you want, and get the same answer. Okay, so I hope these questions and the answers I'm giving you are being helpful to you. Okay, thank you very much for watching our videos today, and I'll see you in the next.